Guten Morgen, Sportsfreunde. Good morning, everybody. This is Tetze for the Halbgottschmiede, the demigod forge, with the power level over 9000. And as you can see in the video description, this video is about a very distinct topic. A topic that is kind of milked in our industry to death. Stop caring about your body fat percentage, or the question, what the fuck is the LSC? But first of all, let me get a sip of coffee. Very good. So this video is kind of aimed towards people who are already regularly working out. So if you're a beginner, if you're obese, if you want to lose weight, if you just start out and have basically no idea about nutrition, about training, this isn't for you. This is something for people who are regularly going to the gym 3 times a week, whatever, who already have a basic idea how their nutrition should be and maybe even look like athletes, like maybe not like professional athlete, but like, you know. So if you're a gym rat, this video is for you. In our industry, one term comes up basically everywhere you look, everywhere you go. Lose fat, body fat percentage, what's your current body fat, do you have abs? So this is like the main holy grail of the industry, okay? Well, being muscular, of course, but also what's your body fat percentage? First of all, there is a lot of different figures. 12%, 10%, 6%, people on stage with 5% body fat, you have to be below this and that percentage of body fat. The whole point is, what I'm aiming at, if you have visible abs, and it doesn't even matter if you have like a shredded six-pack, visible obliques or whatever, if you have a little bit, even a shade of abs in good lighting, you definitely in a fit state, you know? So everything basically below 20% body fat is a healthy body fat percentage, and you'll be, if you're working out and have decent nutrition, you'll probably be a very fit person. And that's, of course, the most important thing. You might aim for something different, but that's not the whole point. We will talk about that in a second. So it's not about being super lean, and of course I know the image that is created, and we've talked about that in past videos. So the image that is created is that everybody is shredded all the time, ripped to shreds, like, you know, and you have to know that this isn't a healthy state to be in, not a healthy state body-wise and not a healthy state mind-wise. So your body doesn't want to be as lean as possible. Your body wants to be basically as fat as possible, which isn't something we aim at, but you want to be as fit as possible. And neither of those two things are what is fit. So being obese isn't fit. Being very, very shredded is not the same as being fit. And it takes a long time, even for the most dedicated people, to get to this very, very lean body. Now, the question is, what is the LSC? And that's something I want to talk about, because we're hearing all these figures, as I said, 12%, 10%, whatever. So different people look very different with different amounts of body fat. So there's this example of this English guy, he had 10% body fat and basically was stage ready because all his fat was not beneath his skin, so subcutaneous fat, there was basically nothing remaining, but he had visceral fat, so with his organs, and that's actually very important to have. So his fat level was already quite low, but it wasn't as low as you might think or as the industry suggests. But how did he get to know his number, his figure for his body fat percentage? It was a so-called DEXA scan. Now, people tell you that DEXA scans are the most precise way to measure body fat, but let me tell you a horrible truth. There is no precise way to determine one's body fat. Now, bear with me. Whatever measurement you do, if you take a scale, yeah, not your home scale for 20 bucks, but I mean like, what's it called, bioimpedance scale, yeah, you can measure your body fat with that. It uses different electrodes, and you hold some grips and maybe have some electrodes over your body. So it basically measures the Widerstand. The impedance, it basically measures the impedance. So you might have a certain number, a certain figure of body fat with such a scale. Then there is always the caliper, you know, this little thing, you pinch your fat and you will get a certain figure of your body fat. This is of course different because people have different amounts of fat beneath their skin in different parts of their body. And as I just said, this guy who has no subcutaneous fat will have very little fat with such a measurement, but has some with the DEXA scan. And then there is the DEXA scan. Then we have the water method, where it's basically measured how much water you put aside when you're in a bathtub, whatever. Alan Thrall has a very good video on this one, and it's supposed to be very precise. But now comes the very important thing. You can take one of those measurements, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, even if you just put a band around your waist and measure your weight and just use some equation to get your body fat percentage. Even that is very much okay, just do it once, and after that, it doesn't matter what the figure says. After that, it just matters if it goes down over a longer period of time, or if it goes up, or if it stays on the same. So, and even now the important thing, even if it stays on the same level, it doesn't mean nothing changed because of the LSC. Now let's get into that. What is the LSC? It means least significant change. So every measurement you take to really know if something changed, you have to have a very distinct number of percent change. So the percentage has to change a very, very big margin actually, just to know if something changed. So for example, your body fat for scale, they will never tell you. This is the thing. No DEXA scan will tell you what their LSC is, and no scale will say, okay, on its packaging will say, okay, well, to know if something changed, you need an LSC of 6% or something like that. So, and that's actually a very realistic number. So imagine your body fat has to change for 6% just to notice a difference, and then you still don't know because you need at least 2 or 3 measurements just to know if this is going in the right direction that you want, or if it's staying on the same level. So this is really the big problem we have. No measurement is without an LSC. So we need a very significant change, the least significant change, to be sure that something changed. Everything else is just like fluctuation, daily fluctuation. The same with a normal scale. You step on a scale in the morning, you step on the scale in the evening. Of course, you've eaten, you drink some water, whatever, so your weight increases over the day. But of course, you're not gaining any fat mass or lean body mass over the day. And on the next morning, you might have a kilogram more. Maybe you didn't go to the shitter, you know, or maybe you just retain more water, things like that. So, and that's the same thing with those measurement methods for your body fat. So there has to be a change over time that is actually measurable. And here comes the big problem. So this guy's doing a DEXA scan, it says 10% body fat, for example. And you might think, well, that's fucking high. How can this guy have a body fat percentage of 10% if he's shredded? He has to have 5%. Maybe he really has 5, 6, 7%, maybe below 7%. But at this moment, the DEXA scan says 10%. So now comes the clue. If he does another one, it might say 7%. Did he lose 3? No, but 3% might not be in the least significant change amount. So it might be that he just stayed the same, but there is of course differences in each measurement. And that's the whole point. So if you're an athlete, if you're maybe even want to step on stage, don't fucking care about your body fat percentage. Look into the mirror, you will see the changes. Look at your abs, look at your body. Just step on a scale, and even if the scale doesn't change, which I've had a lot of times during diets, that's no problem. The most reliable method that I found, that's very easy and affordable, is just take a tape measure, measure the circumference of your belly at the height of your belly button. Do this every 2 weeks, step on scale, a maximum of once a week. If you're dieting down, that's the whole point. And even if you're trying to build muscle, if you're bulking up, just step on scale once a week. You will check if your weight roughly remains the same, you're on the right page to gain muscle. If it increases a lot, so like a kilogram every week, that's too much, my friend. If it stays on the same page, you're definitely on a good spot to build some muscle. So take some measurements, and you have to look at it over a long period of time, just to exclude the LSC, because as I said, there are differences in each measurement. Stop caring so much about body fat percentage. If you want to be fit, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be strong, and if you want to lose fat, just do what you're supposed to do, find your way, take your diet, this is a whole different point, and just stick to it. And you will lose body fat no matter what any measurement says. So starting measure, to take a starting measurement so that you know, okay, well, this is where I stand right now, and then look at it over time. Only this way you can exclude this LSC point. That's the whole and most important thing. Thank you for listening. So I hope you're a little bit smarter right now, and I hope you could understand what I said. And you can support me clicking the links in the description, buying the t-shirts, buying stuff from my protein, and using my link. Thanks. This is Tetzel. See you next time. Dragonslayer mode. My protein.
Fuel your ambition.